Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. My name's Ollie, thank you for being here and welcome to this all levels vinyasa flow. Today we're going to be keeping things nice and simple, moving forwards and backwards on our yoga mats using the sun salutation method, and then we'll gradually start incorporating some more traditional poses and putting together a nice vinyasa sequence. So if you're relatively new to yoga, this is a great opportunity for you to get familiar with some more of the traditional poses, the foundational poses that we use regularly within our yoga classes, and sort of get a feel for my style of teaching here on the channel. If you enjoy today's class, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe so you never miss a video, and we're going to start today's class in a comfortable seated position. So if you want to go ahead and grab a cushion or a bolster, maybe a couple of yoga blocks, then go ahead and do that now. And I'll see you back on the yoga mat. Alright, so let's go ahead and make our way into a comfortable seated position with the legs crossed. Sit up tall, lengthen through the spine, reach the crown of the head up to the ceiling and close down the eyes. Place the hands down on the knees in a position that's comfortable for you. Maybe have the palms open up to the sky, or maybe close them down to the knees. And before we move into the physical aspect of this practice, before we move into our asana, we're going to do a breathing exercise called samavriti, also known as box breathing or sometimes pause breathing. And how this is going to work is we're going to inhale for a count of 4, hold at the top of the inhale for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds, and then hold at the bottom of the exhale for another 4 seconds. And hopefully this will allow us to calm the mind, calm the nervous system, and allow us to slip into that parasympathetic state that is so key to our yoga practice. And if you feel any discomfort or any stress during this exercise, then just reduce the count down to 3 seconds or maybe even 2 seconds. Okay, so when you're ready, let's take a deep inhale through the nose, fill the lungs all the way up to capacity. Exhale out the mouth, let it go. Then as you inhale for a count of 4, 3, 2, 1, hold, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1, hold, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, continuing at your own pace. Maybe you feel like you can add an extra second or two. Just try to become the observer, switching off the mind, focusing on the breath. Everything else slips away. Let your next exhale be your last. And then inhale, fill the lungs, come back to a nice steady rhythm of breath. And my invitation to you is to try to keep the lips sealed, maintaining this rhythm of breath, breathing in and out through the nose as we move through the practice. Slowly start to blink open the eyes, come back to the body. Take an inhale, circle the hands up to the sky, palms face each other. And then exhale, bring the hands down to heart center, prayer pose. Inhale, circle the hands back up, maybe the palms touch. And then exhale, Drop the right hand down to the right side and reach the left hand up and over the head for a side bend to the right. Anchoring down through that left hip, reaching the left shoulder and the left hand away from the left hip to create space in the body for breath, for energy to flow. Then on your next inhale, circle the hands back to the sky. Exhale, drop the left hand down to the ground and then reach the right hand up and over the head, side bend on the opposite sides. And as you inhale, can you channel that breath into the right lung, feeling that expansion within the right side of the ribcage. Inhale, circle the hands back to the sky, palms touch at the top. Exhale, bring the hands down to heart center prayer pose. Now from here, we're going to make our way into a tabletop pose facing the front of the yoga mat. So hands come beneath the shoulders, knees beneath the hips, and then come onto the toes. So tuck the toes underneath the heels. And we're just going to start with a quick warm-up routine for the wrists. So walk the hands back maybe an inch or so. And from here, we want to shift the shoulders over the fingertips until we start to feel that stretching sensation within the forearms. Just gently approaching the edge without forcing anything. And then sit back down to the heels. Shift the weight forward, shoulders come over the fingertips. Maybe you come a bit further this time. And then sit back into the heels. One more time, shoulders over the fingers. And then sit back down onto the heels. Bring the hands up, shake out the wrists, get the blood flow going into the fingertips. Maybe you feel that nice stretch along the back of the feet, deep into the toes. And then we're going to come back into a tabletop, walk the hands forward slightly, and then step the feet to the back of the yoga mat as we make our way into a high plank pose, top of a push-up. Protract the shoulder blades, engage the core, tuck the tailbone, and then drop the knees down to the floor. Shift the shoulders over the fingertips, and then slowly start to bend the arms as you lower all the way down to the ground. Untuck the toes, keep the hands beneath the shoulders. And then on an inhale, push into the palms, lift the chest, squeeze the shoulder blades together, engage the glutes, cobra pose. Exhale, release down to the floor. Inhale, lift the chest using the muscles in the back to keep the chest lifted as you reach the toes back. Exhale, release down to the ground. One more time, inhale, chest lifts, squeeze the shoulder blades. Exhale, release down to the floor. Beautiful, guys. We're going to make our way into a child's pose now. So bring the big toes together, open the knees slightly, and send the hips back down towards the heels, keeping the hands where they are. Bring the forehead down to the ground. And allow the belly, allow the torso to sink down in between the hips. And as you inhale, can you feel the lungs expanding into those inner thighs? And as you exhale, try to release any tension that's hanging around in the area of the hips, in the lower back. Allow that belly to sink down close towards the floor. From here, reach the hands forwards. Open the hands so they're slightly wider than the shoulders. And then tuck the toes, send the hips to the sky as we make our way into a downward facing dog. First downward facing dog of the practice. So keep the knees bent for now. Push into the palms, spread the fingertips. Lift the hips to the sky. And then gently and subtly allow the chest to slip between the gateways of the shoulders, drawing towards the legs. Take an inhale here. And then exhale. Slowly start to straighten the legs and draw the heels down towards the ground. And if your heels don't touch the floor, then don't worry about it. It took me about 2 years of practicing yoga every single day before I could bring my heels down to the floor in a downward facing dog. So as long as you stay consistent with your practice, you keep on showing up, you keep on being patient with yourself, then eventually everything will fall into place. Take one more inhale here, reach the hips back, and then exhale, walk the feet in between the hands for a forward fold at the front of the yoga mats. Again, keep a slight bend in those knees. Maybe grab onto opposite elbows. Just give the body the time that it needs to open up. Shifting the weight back into the heels. Slowly start to straighten the legs. Let the upper body be heavy. And then bring the hands down to the yoga mat in front of the feet. On an inhale, we're going to halfway lift. So come onto the fingertips or bring the hands to the knees. We're looking for that flat back shape. Find length in the spine. Keep the neck in line with the spine. And then exhale, forward fold. 2 more times. Inhale, come onto the fingertips. Lengthen through the spine, maybe hands to the knees. Exhale, release. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Put a slight bend into the knees. Then as you inhale, circle the hands up to the sky as we make our way into Tadasana, standing pose, reaching the fingertips up, palms face each other, grounding down through the heels. And then exhale, bring the hands down to heart center, prayer pose. Inhale, circle the hands up to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, Lord, for Hardasana. Exhale, Tadasana. Inhale, reach the hands to the sky, and then this time we're going to forward fold, bringing the hands down to the floor. Inhale, flat back, halfway lift. And then exhale, step the right foot to the back of the yoga mat. Drop the right knee down to the ground. Untuck the right toes. Bring the hands back to frame the left foot. Start to reach those hips forwards and down. And then bring the hands on top of the left knee as we make our way into a low lunge position. Allowing that right hip flexor to sink down towards the floor. Opening up the front side of the right leg. Then on your next inhale, we're going to float the hands up to the sky, imagining we're holding a heavy round object up above our heads. With each inhale, reaching the fingertips up, finding length in the spine, keeping the legs in the same position, breathing into that right hip flexor, engaging the right glute slightly. And then release the hands down to the floor to frame the left foot. And then we're going to make our way into a half split. So if you're like me, you might need to heel toe the left foot forward slightly. And then slowly start to straighten the left leg, balancing on the left heel, the left toes point up to the ceiling, trying to keep that right hip above the right knee. And we want to avoid any hyperextension here. So if you tend to hyperextend, just keep a slight bend in the left knee. From here, take an inhale, pull the chest up and out. And then exhale, forward fold over the left leg. Maybe the palms come down to the floor. Maybe bring the right hands to grab onto the left toes. Just giving that hamstring, all those muscles along the back side of the left leg some love. Breathing into the fascia, getting that circulation, into the back of the leg. Beautiful. Slowly start to rebend the left knee, bring the left heel back underneath the knee. Tuck the right toes under, lift the right leg off the ground. So now we're in a runner's lunge position. Try to keep the chest lifted off the left thigh. Take an inhale. And then as you exhale, step the right foot forwards behind the left foot so the legs are crossed. Keeping a slight bend in both the knees so you can bring the hands down to the floor in a forward fold position with the legs wrapped. And then inhale, flat back, lift up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, forward fold, release. Inhale, circle the hands to the sky, keeping the legs crossed. Interlace all the fingers except for the indexes. Pull yourself up, get long in the spine. And then exhale, side bend to the left, just like we did at the start of practice. Breathing into that right lung, feeling that expansion within the body. Grounding down through those feet. Reaching those fingertips away from the hips. On your next inhale, come back to center. Exhale, forward fold, hands down to the floor. Step the right foot back into a runner's lunge. Bring the palms down to the floor. Step the left foot back so we're in a plank pose. Drop the knees down to the ground. Bend the arms, chaturanga, lower to the floor. Inhale, lift the chest cobra, reach the toes back. Exhale, tuck the toes, moving through a child's pose, and then sending the hips to the sky for a downward facing dog. Take one more inhale breath here, reach the hips up and back, get long through those legs. And then exhale, walk the hands between the feet. Let's move through that same sequence on the other side. Inhale, halfway lift, come onto the fingertips, hands to the knees maybe. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, release down. Inhale, find separation through those vertebrae. Exhale, forward fold. Put a slight bend into those knees. Inhale, reach the fingertips up to the sky. Maybe the palms touch. Exhale, hands down to heart center. Inhale, float the fingertips up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, step the left foot back. Drop the left knee down to the ground. Untuck the left toes. Keeping the hips neutral, so squeeze the hips together. The right knee comes over the right heel. Slowly bring the hands on top of that right knee. And again, just allow that left hip flexor to open up as the hips sink further down towards the ground, creating that good foundation within the lower body. And then as you inhale, if you want, you can reach the hands up to the sky, low lunge. Getting long in that spine, getting long through the sides of the waists. Inhale, reach those fingertips. Exhale, hands down to frame the right foot. Tuck the left toes under. Walk the right foot forwards if you have to. And then slowly make your way into that half split position, straightening the right leg. Reaching the right toes up to the ceiling. Staying strong in those fingertips, pulling that right hip back. Inhale, lift the chest, extend through the spine. Exhale, forward fold over the right thigh. Maybe bring the left hand on top of the right foot. Push into that right hand. Keep a slight bend in that right knee and breathe into that right hamstring. Just pulling that right hip back slightly to find a bit more length. along the back side of the leg. Take one more inhale here. And then slowly start to rebend that right knee so the knee comes over the right heel. Hands down to the floor to frame the right foot. Tuck the left toes, lift the left knee off the ground. And then step the left foot forwards behind the right heel so the legs are crisscrossed. Inhale, flat back, lift the chest. Exhale, release down. Inhale for expansion. Exhale for consolidation. One more time, inhale, lift the chest, get long. Exhale, with yoga you just cannot go wrong. Inhale, bend the knees, circle the hands up to the sky, fingertips reach. Interlace all the fingers except for the indexes. Reach the fingers up, get long in the spine, get long through the waist. Exhale, side bend to the right. Reach those indexes to the right side. And then exhale, side bend to the right. Grounding down through those feet, reaching those fingertips away from the hips. And we're just breathing deep into that left lung, deep within the left rib cage. Beautiful, you guys. On an inhale, come back to center. Fingertips reach up to the ceiling. Exhale, forward fold, hands down to the floor. Inhale, flat back, lift the chest up halfway. Exhale, step the left foot back, frame the right foot with the hands. Bring the palms down to the floor. Inhale, step the right foot back so we're in that plank pose. And so far for our chaturangas, we've been dropping the knees down to the ground, but if you want to keep the knees lifted this time, maybe you're feeling strong enough, maybe you're feeling confident enough to do so, keep the knees lifted, shift the weight forwards, exhale, bend the arms, chaturanga, lower down to the floor, untuck the toes. Inhale, lift the chest, cobra, engage the glutes, so squeeze those bum cheeks together. Exhale, downward facing dog, send the hips to the sky. Take an inhale through the nose, fill the lungs, and then exhale out the mouth, let it go. And then just notice your heels tucking behind your second and third toes. So you might need to turn your heels out slightly to come into your full expression of this downward dog. Slowly start to lift the left foot off the ground, floating that left heel up to the sky for a three-legged dog, keeping the shoulders neutral, drawing that right heel down to the floor. Exhale, draw the left knee to the chest, place the foot between the hands, come onto the fingertips, and then balancing on your back right toes, keeping that right knee hovering above the floor. Then as you inhale, gracefully, slowly, reach the hands to the sky, palms face each other for a high lunge, or what we call in yoga, crescent pose. Inhale, breath, reach the fingertips up, get long through the sides of the waists. And then exhale, drop the right heel down to the ground, open the hips to the right, bring the hands down to shoulder height, warrior two. Gaze comes over the left middle finger. Pushing back through the outer edge of the right foot, keeping the left knee tracking just above the left heel. Take a couple of breaths here, sink those hips down low, and then rotate the left hand so the palm faces the ceiling. From here, we're slowly going to reach the right hand down to the right leg, and then send the left fingertips up and over the head to reverse the warrior. And like I've said a few times already, every pose in yoga has an anchor. And right now that anchor point is our left hip. We keep that anchor low, we keep that anchor heavy, and then we reach the torso, the left shoulder, the left hand away from the anchor, creating space. Take one more inhale breath here. Exhale, come back to a warrior two. And then bring the top of the left forearm down onto the left leg, keeping the fingertips pointing to the right. And then slowly float that right hand up to the sky for side angle pose. And if you have the mobility here in the shoulders, reach those right fingertips forwards as we create that nice diagonal line from our right heel all the way to our right fingertips. And now we're going to flow for a few rounds of lows. So inhale, reverse warrior, left fingertips back. Exhale, side angle pose, forearm on top of the left thigh. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, side angle. Inhale, reverse warrior. Then exhale, bring the hands down to the floor to frame the left foot, and then step the left foot back to meet the right, plank pose, top of a push-up. Inhale, shift the shoulders forwards. Then either with the knees lifted or dropping the knees down to the ground, bend the arms, lower down to the floor, untuck the toes. Inhale, lift the chest cobra pose. Exhale, downward facing dog, hips to the sky. Enjoy a nice inhale through the nose. Exhale out the mouth, let it go. And then welcome back to your downward facing dog. A pose which we weave in and out of many, many, many times. And as the practice deepens, with each repetition of downward facing dog that we move through, can you notice all the subtle differences that are taking place within the body? The openness within the shoulders, the flexibility in the legs, the ease in which the breath starts to flow, this unique evolution that takes place as our practice deepens and evolves. Let's do the other side, guys. Slowly start to lift the right foot off the ground, reaching the right heel up to the sky, three-legged dog, shoulders level with each other. Exhale, draw the knee to the chest, place the foot in between the hands. Keeping that left knee lifted, keeping the right knee tracking above the right heel, balancing on the left toes. Inhale, float the hands to the sky, crescent pose, get long in the spine. Reaching those fingertips up, breathing into the lungs. Inhale, fingertips reach. Exhale, drop the left heel down, open the hips to the left. Warrior two on the opposite side. And then just breathe into whatever it is that you're feeling, allowing the feel to override the think, creating that deep state of presence, silencing the voice in your head. Breathe through the challenge. Flip the right palm to the ceiling. Inhale, reverse warrior, reach the left hand down to the left leg, reaching the right fingertips back, breathing into the right rib cage. As you get long and you get lean, but you do it with the mind of a warrior, calm, focused, and serene. Take one more inhale breath here. Exhale, forearm down to the right thigh, side angle pose, reach the left fingertips to the sky, or maybe reach the left fingertips forwards, extending through the left shoulder, keeping that right knee bending just above the right heel. Inhale, reverse warrior, let's flow. Exhale, side angle pose. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, side angle. Inhale, reverse warrior, breathe into the right lung. Exhale, hands down to the ground, frame the right foot. Come onto the left toes, step the right foot back. Inhale, shift the shoulders over the fingertips. Exhale, bend the arms, lower down to the ground. Inhale, lift the chest cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, fill the lungs. Exhale, release through the mouth. Drop the knees down to the floor. Slowly crawl the knees up towards the back of the hands. Cross the legs behind you. Sit down in between the heels. And extend the legs out in front of you, keeping the hands down by the hips. Get long in that spine. Staff pose, Dandasana. And then reach the hands up to the sky, maybe the palms touch at the top. Lift the knees off the ground, bend the knees slightly. Take an inhale, reach the hands up. And then exhale, fold over the thighs, grabbing the bottom of the feet. And then we're slowly going to make our way into a seated forward fold, shifting the bum back, gradually starting to straighten the legs until you find your expression of a forward fold. Inhale, lift the chest up slightly. And then exhale, gradually pulling the elbows down towards the floor, outside the calves. Maybe the belly comes down to the thighs. And then just remember that comparison is the thief of joy. So you might be looking at me right now and I'm pretty deep into this forward fold. But if you're pretty new to the practice, then your chest might be up here. You might not even be able to straighten the legs. But the key is to focus on effort and never the end result. So as long as you're listening into your body, going to your extent, finding your version of a full expression of these poses, then that is absolutely perfect. That's exactly what we're looking for. Everything that we do in yoga is done with intelligence as we push our egos to the side. Let's take a few more breaths here. With each exhale, try to release any tension within the body, any tension that you might be holding on to. As you gradually start to sink deeper and deeper into this forward fold, maybe you can bring the head down to the shins. And then just get lost inside that world of your breath. Okay guys, come back to your body, come back to center. Slowly start to release the hands from the feet. And then really slowly walking the hands back to the hips. Straighten the spine, lengthen through the back. And then keeping the right leg where it is, start to bend the left knee in. And cross the left foot over the right thigh. And what we're looking for here is to be able to stack both the knees on top of each other. As you get a nice stretch along the left hip, the outside of the left leg. Now keeping that left leg crossed over the right, bring the hands down to the floor. Draw that left hip down as you pull the chest up slightly on an inhale. And then exhale, forward fold over the left knee. Maybe you can crawl the hands slightly forwards. Maybe you can bring the left hand, grab onto the outside of the right foot. Just allow that torso and that chest to drape over the top of the right leg. It's a super nice stretch for the outside of the left leg, the back of the right leg. So there's obviously quite a lot of compression going on here within the lungs. This is quite an awkward pose to breathe in. But just see if you can keep that breath gently moving in and out through the nose. As we train our bodies to learn how to breathe in these more challenging positions. Nice, you guys. Let's release out of this pose. Lift the chest up. Extend the left leg forward to meet the right. And then bend the right foot in And cross the right foot over the left thigh. Again, trying to get those knees stacked on top of each other. Drawing down through that right hip. Bring the hands down to the floor. Inhale, pull the chest up. Keep the left toes pointing towards your face. And then exhale, slowly start to fold over the right leg. Just coming into your expression of this pose, moving around, feeling things out. Maybe grab the outside of the left foot with the right hands. Anchoring down with that right hip, pulling that right hip back, folding deep over that right leg. Just giving that whole outside of the right hip and the right leg a nice deep stretch. Okay guys, slowly start to release. Bring the right foot to meet the left foot. Bring the palms down to the floor beside the hips. Inhale, find length in the spine, pull the chest up. And then exhale, lower down to the ground. Draw the knees into the chest. Grab onto the shins. Give yourself a big hug. Take a huge inhale through the nose. And then exhale out the mouth as you release into Shavasana, corpse pose, letting everything fall down to the ground. Palms to the ceiling. Let the feet do whatever they have to do just to fall into the position that they need to be in. Let go of controlling the breath. Let go of any tension in the body. Close down the eyes and sink into stillness. As the great Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius once said, there is no place that you can go that is more peaceful and free of distraction than the sanctity of your own soul.